It's easy as 1, 2, 3 finding a company that excels in electrical, plumbing, AC installation and repairs, painting and much more. SAS Electrical is here for you, giving you excellent service, great rates, timely completion. Contact SAS Electrical at 709-9215 or 359-1014. Call us today. SAS Electrical. Streaming live on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and more. GLS 103.5 out of Tobago.
In your face, all over the place. We're online. You're listening to the hottest internet station
in the Caribbean. GLS
103.5
out of Tobago. Buckle up those seatbelts. No drinking and driving. No overtaking on the shoulders. No texting and driving. Your family awaits you at home. Drive to arrive alive. A message from GLS 103.5. As the nation continues in its fight against the deadly novel coronavirus, COVID-19, GLS 103.5 urges you to continue observing the new normal. Continue social distancing. Wear your face mask. Wash your hands regularly. Use hand sanitizers. Avoid assembling. And generally continue to clean and sanitize your environment. We thank everyone for their continued yeoman service. The doctors, nurses, hospital attendants, supermarket attendants, hardware workers, those involved in pharmaceuticals, public service transport workers, sanitation workers. You are to be applauded in the fight against this deadly, novel coronavirus COVID-19. We urge the nation to continue to be safe and take the necessary precautions against COVID-19.
Therefore will I deliver him. I will set him on high, because he has known my name. He shall call upon me, and I will answer him. I will be with him in trouble. I will deliver and honor him. With long life will I satisfy him and show my salvation. The workers of iniquity dig a pit for me. Now they're waiting for me to fall in, trying to take my bread and butter with lies and propaganda, but they're I will not be afraid of what man can do to me. Man, you see, is only vanity. You see, who God bless, no man curse. He shall never hunger or thirst. Who God bless, no man shall ever curse. He shall be first. He shall be first. Maturity and gain popularity. Some of them claiming is their own thing, but a short truth always prevails finally. So the death of lies and deceit is a certainty. You see, who
This is Caribbean Vibes.
Good afternoon to all our viewers. Good afternoon to you and yours. And how are you all this afternoon? How are you guys going out there? It has been a very, very tough and very hot day for me. But thank God for great mercies. We are here this afternoon. I have to say, basically, for all our viewers, you all know how to pop in a little early and play the music until our hosts do get in. But this afternoon was a challenge. Today been a challenging day for me, but thank God I'm here. Hey, good afternoon to you, Mr. Charles, and how are you this afternoon?
Good afternoon. No change yet. I'm still excellent.
Yes.
And peaceful by the grace of God. You know, without His grace, we're nothing at all.
Nothing at all. So true, so true.
Without God, we are nothing but dust, you know.
Yes.
It is God's Spirit that keeps us.
So true that.
If the Spirit moves out of us, we become dust again.
Yeah.
We must study the work of creation, you know. And people, if they observe, they will recognize that this is really true.
Yes.
When God say, make us from the dust of the ground, and we were dead, we had a heart, but we couldn't pump any blood. We had a brain, but we couldn't think. Huh?
So
We had lungs, we couldn't breathe. All of these things, we had them, you know.
Right.
All God added was what? He breathed some breath in our nostril. He give us His Spirit.
Yes.
And we become a living soul. We jump up.
Yes.
And He said that in His word, you know, that when that Spirit move out from us, we become dust again and we put us. When the Spirit move out, He go back to who give it. And it's God who give it. And then the body goes back into the dust with your lungs. Your lungs, your heart, your kidney, your brain. Everything have no function, no use. And people have to bear that in mind. Observe it in nature. Observe it in our existence, and you'll recognize it is the truth. So this is why we will give God all praise and honor and glory. We mustn't take any for ourselves because it's the Spirit that does the work.
So
the Spirit moves out. We're nothing but us.
But dust. So true that.
So that is very important. This is why I always tell people that I am excellent by the grace of God.
Of course, of course.
I do nothing without God. In fact, you can't do anything without God.
Yes.
But we must really give Him the honor and the glory for that.
I'd like to say good afternoon to Grace out there. Good afternoon to Nicola. Good afternoon to Diane. Good afternoon to each and everyone who is on the live at this time. I'm seeing some of you all just
very nice
joining, just popping in. We are here this afternoon with Mr. Charles once again. It's Tuesday once again. And we are here. Good afternoon to Tony King as well. And you all enjoy what we have to offer this afternoon. Yeah, back to you, Mr. Charles.
Yeah, I was just saying that, well, the country now is almost, our health sector is now most overwhelmed by the number of positive cases. We have crossed the 1,000 mark. 1,000. And what is amazing, what is appalling about that is, Election Day was on the 10th of August.
Yes.
Huh? We had about 281 cases around there, cases at that time up to Election Day.
Yes.
And between that time and yesterday, which is the 24th, like 14 and 10, exactly 2 weeks, because 1,000. 1,000
In 2 weeks' time.
in 2 weeks' time. But remember, I came on your program after election and I said to you, there's going to be a lockdown on the country, and I told you why.
Yeah.
You remember? Those people who were on our program would remember. And I said that we were campaigning, we were having our public meetings, and we were saying this to people, that both the PDP and the PNM in Tobago space, well, Trinidad, it was crazy. Two, they were actually lawless.
Yes.
I'm looking for a nicer word. I don't like to use these very strong words. They were very lawless. Because remember, I told you that they were inviting people to come out to these meetings that they were having. Come out in your large numbers. And I said we were announcing our meetings and saying to people, please do not come.
Yes, I remember.
Yeah, we have been doing that. Everybody knows that. Some of these things are live, you know. They are live on Facebook and so on.
Yeah.
We announced and said, don't come except you have a vehicle. If you have a vehicle, you can drive and come. You will maintain your physical distancing because you will be in your vehicle and you will listen. Other than that, we are on Facebook. You can go there and get it. Get the meeting live. Or when we were on Paul's the live radio station, that you could have gone there and get it. But we were hearing the others inviting. We came from Charlottesville and passed in Betsy Zope, a public meeting in Betsy Zope, and that was the PNM. And I said, Lord God, we in for I said that, you know, we're in real trouble in this country after this election, you know. I mean, we were crazy.
Yes.
And I told you about the meeting we had in Lekoto with the PDP passed down. They are leaving from Mariah to go to Mason. It's next door.
Right.
But they want to pick up people. So they travel from Mariah, Mount Thomas, Golden Lane, and they pass through our public meeting in Lekoto. And they were saying to people, come out in a large number, we're going to a meeting in Mason. They went down Annersville, go down to Bethesda, into Plymouth, come through Wim, on Vegan Wim, and come through Wim, and they go into Mason Hall, you know. They didn't go up Concordia and go to Mason Hall. They passed back up into Lekoto, like it was a mini motorcade. Go into a meeting in Mason Hall, go back to Mariah, Islands Road, and inviting people to come out in their numbers. And I said, Lord, we are in for a lot of trouble. Totally irresponsible.
Yes, yes.
We know we're going to have this. And when I come on your program, I tell you, we're going to lock down. Because COVID is going to take over this country. We don't have a clue what is going to happen. Same thing I told you.
Yes.
And the PNM did the same thing too. Not only in Tobago, but in Trinidad. They were all crazy and irresponsible. That's the seed we sow. And we are going to be paying a price for it. We don't know what's going to happen. I don't want to talk about the consequences, about the lockdown and the consequences of another lockdown. In fact, the whole economy of Tobago gone through, as you know,
Well,
because
so
once
far-
you close the beaches, because as you know, the borders are still locked down.
Yes, yes.
So you're not having foreigners coming in and tourists coming in.
Correct.
So you are dependent upon the domestic tourism. And people from Trinidad normally will come up. They want to come and get sea bath and so on. And as a result, as a spin-off from that they will be able to buy in the restaurant and so on, stay in a hotel, buy in the restaurant, buy in all, you know, these people who are selling the little trinkets and whatever alongside the road, artifacts and so on, they will buy. So the economy, now that is shut down. The economy gone through. You can't talk about bars now, the bars and so on now. You better say the lockdown. Because a bar and a rum shop, the culture and the environment of a rum shop is that you go in and you have a beer or you have a drink and you sit down and you lime. And you lime and you have conversation and so on. Once you say to take away, nobody go into a bar to buy it to take away. You go to a supermarket and you go buy yourself and go home and drink and do whatever you have to do and so on. So we know they shut down the whole economy of Tobago. The private business would have gone through. And I don't want to say that except to make this one point and then allow you to do what you need to do. God never destroyed a city before without a warning. I have been saying for years that you do not wait until you are thirsty. I say it all on your program to dig your well. Meaning, you don't wait until you are thirsty to look for your water. You look for your water, you're going to walk, you know you're going to be thirsty. You look for your bottle of water or whatever container of water and you put it down there. So as soon as you're thirsty, you go and fill your glass, full of cup, full of bottle, whatever, and you drink. These are a lot of lessons that I was teaching. That the economy of Trinidad and Tobago was going through a particular thing. We witnessed it several times. And I was saying, there are things that we need to put in place because this thing going to happen again. You remember this address? I read it on your program. Remember this?
Oh, yes.
The deepening crisis in the national economy, Thursday, February 25th, 1999. This thing is 2,000 years, it's 20 years ago. 20 years. And all that is happening to the country today was said in that. So people didn't understand anything about culture, didn't understand anything about intellectual property, like things like ring bang, and people didn't understand these things. They were depending upon oil and gas, and I said, hey, it happened to us already. Don't let this happen to us. God didn't allow us to be free in order to become a slave to oil and gas. We need to pay attention. You see what happened to the country today? If I read this, all that happening to the country is in this document. One of these days I'm going to read it again. This was reprinted in the newspaper for many different years. Every time the Spirit says, print it. I pay to print this in the newspapers, I am taking up newspaper clippings with the entire address, Up to 5 years ago, this was reprinted, and people not paying attention to what we are saying. As I say to people, the Chinese have a proverb that says, experience keepeth a very expensive school. Because the school experience, as you know, is very costly, You have to go and gain your experience. Sometimes you die in the process of gaining that experience, Experience keepeth a very expensive school. And fools learn in no other. And that story there is relevant to Tobago even today, based upon something I'm going to say in a short while. Let me repeat it. Experience keeps a very expensive school. And fools learn in no other. Fools want to learn in the school of experience only. They don't want to learn from the experience of others. They don't know that they could die in the process of learning. That's why it's so costly. Sometimes you're trying to get the same experience that that fella have. And he went through that and he survived. You may not survive. So learn from his experience. And don't go try to do the thing he did. You may not be able to survive. Use the experience he had. And that is what the Chinese says. Chinese proverb says that. Experience keepeth a very expensive school. And fools learn in order. When I look at Tobago and Trinidad, I look at our politics even in Tobago. We want to learn by experience. I came here and said to you all that the PDP is dead. Will never resurrect and will not win an election in Tobago again. I said that of the TOP in 2013. And I know why I'm saying this now again. The Thursday after the election in 2013 when the PNM won 12 seats, you recall that everybody thought that the TOP was going to win that election overwhelmingly. In fact, the result that the PNM got, it should have been TOP. Had it not been for the UNC coming over to Tobago during that period and taking over that particular campaign, it opened up people's eyes. And when you say that I hear some people who are not properly grounded, who are ignorant, who don't have the experience and the knowledge, saying that is race. It is not race. Because we are saying you don't want the PNM in Tobago because self-government means that the people of Tobago must have the authority and the power to determine our space, determine our destiny, determine how Tobago is governed, how Tobago is developed. And you don't want PNM there. You don't want the UNC either. So from the time you say, them is the agent of the UNC, you see you're talking race, not race. If they go back and take Mr. Robinson's address, his speech in the parliament, when he moved the motion for international government in 1977, people must take it and read it. And let me just say something that he said in that speech. I'm going to bring it here the next time I'm coming. He says, you know, one can say self-government for Montserrat. That is 33 square miles. You can say self-government for Antigua. Well, Antigua is independent, as you know now. You can say self-government, even independence for Antigua. That is 108 square miles, smaller than Tobago, you know. Small, and do have the resources that Tobago has, you know. You can say so, and everybody say, okay, and they support you for it. You can say self-government or even independence for St. Kitts. St. Kitts is 68 square miles, you know, just about a little over half the size of Tobago. You didn't know that? Yes. True. And everybody said fine and okay. Mr. Robinson said that in his speech, you know, when he was moving the motion for self-government for Tobago. He said, but as soon as you say justice and internal self-government for the people of Tobago, the people in Trinidad become ferocious, angry, bitter. They attack you. Mr. Robinson said that is in Hansard, you know. So when we say we don't want them, we're not talking race. We're talking none of them. Because they don't want you to develop Tobago the way that the people of Tobago deem fit. So that when people hear they say, you are the agent of the UNC, let people stop talking that you're talking race. You don't want the PNM, which is the other side. There are two parties down there, two main parties in Trinidad. One is the UNC, the next one is the PNM. You don't want either of them because that is contrary. Is diametrically opposed to the whole question of self-government, of internal self-government. It means that the people of Tobago must have their power. You can't come inside. Anytime you come inside, you talk colonialism again. You're talking about colonization again. That you come in to dominate the people's life and tell them how to live. Trinidad wouldn't take that from us, you know. One time I'd said to His Excellency the President, Ray Robinson, when the house, the president house was left in disrepair, and they had to go elsewhere to do work. You know, they're just moving back there for the first set of things from since 2007. I understand. You remember the inauguration took place there of the new cabinet and so on. You remember that? The swearing in and everything took place in President House. Yeah. This last one, they say since 2007 or something like that. Nothing like that didn't take place in the house, you know. Big down. Now, and I said to him, Your Excellency, and that made public, you know. Your Excellency, if they don't know how to treat you in Trinidad, we have a President House in Tobago. And let me say it in public. There's a President House in Tobago, come and function from Tobago until they are respect and fix the house in Trinidad. Look how long he started to deteriorate. Although he remained there, and I don't think he had to move out, but he deteriorated much more than that. But he said to me, you remember he tried it, you know. He received ambassadors in Tobago already, you know. Mr. Robinson, as president, received foreign ambassadors in Tobago, you know, received them here. Okay. And then he was able to explain to me what he said, you know, the President House in Tobago does not have any room for staff. And when you have to function from Tobago, you need all kind of staff. So when he had to receive these people here, some of the people were staying in Palm Tree Guest House, the one in Lambo. Some of the staff had to stay there, some had to stay somewhere else, so you just can't function. And it is then I understand quite well the difficulty. I think that what we should be doing in Tobago, having had that information and that knowledge, is that we should fix up even though it's our own vice president or president to fix Tobago, we should fix up the president house in Tobago in such a way where the president can function from Tobago. Put all the ancillary facilities there where you can have all the staff required. So when the president comes to function, you can receive any foreign mission for everybody, perform certain functions in Tobago, sign bills and so on in Tobago. We need to provide the facilities here. And this is not to bring down anybody. But I thought that would have been the first thing, rather than build a second prime minister house in Tobago. Because that is political. That they were going to fix the president's house in Tobago before building the prime minister house in Tobago. Because you don't really need a two prime minister house.
So true, so true.
Because the prime minister in Trinidad don't have to perform any function here, technically, in Tobago. Because the parliament is in Trinidad, they pass the laws down there. Even when Tobago is given its self-government, the president will have to sign the bills that we pass in Tobago. So what we do, we have to carry them around in Trinidad for to sign them? Or for him to sign them, whoever is the president? So this is why, if we pay attention to these things, the president house in Tobago was the first place we should have fixed up and give it all the facilities it requires so that the president can perform those functions in Tobago. Very important.
Understand. Point well taken.
Online radio station 103, blah, 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 blah.
Yes, our callers and our viewers, please come on in. A question that I'll need to ask from what I'm hearing by traveling around about some people is saying that they don't see the country coming underneath a shutdown because the government do not have funds to issue to each and everybody. Alright, so I'm asking, do you think that we're gonna have a shutdown?
I don't think,
we don't.
We need to examine things, People have to have data on which to make informed decision or come to informed conclusion. Somebody just jump up without any information, any data, and say, me I think this and me I think that and me I think the other.
Right.
What is that informed by? Nothing. The question we should ask ourselves is, if you do not shut down, if you shut down, what are the consequences? And because of the situation, if you do not shut down, what the consequences will be. And we can sit down to examine that. And that is what I would like people to examine and then give their view on that. Imagine that I told you within 2 weeks we had 800 almost and something, 700 and something, almost close to 800 cases. In fact, it passed that now.
Yeah, it passed it and go.
In 2 weeks' time after the election. Because these things start manifesting themselves, as you know, because these people are outside there, no social distancing, no mask, they're just fitting, they're just doing everything for the election. So we knew that these things were going to happen. We were saying that in our meetings. I said that on your program here, say, hey, the country could face a shutdown.
Yes.
And they're going to be, with this COVID thing, they're going to be mass disaster in this country. It happened. And I am not saying that I am not a prophet, I am not God, but I'm saying I am examining truthfully what is actually facing us, what is happening to us today. Now, how do you curb this community spread? We get to that stage of not clusters now, but this is community spread. Do you understand what is meant by that? People have to understand what's happening out there, They cannot afford to trace. One man come inside there, a fete of 250 people. Those 250 people have contacts. They're gone in their family, in their home. They're gone to their workplace. And they're contacting so many people. I don't know, This is why the health people are saying, treat everybody as COVID positive. It is as bad as that. Now, with that kind of situation in Tobago and Trinidad, what do you do? What do you do? And that is why they are begging people to put on your mask, maintain your social distancing, do all the hygiene and so on, follow the protocol, wash your hands, sanitize, do all that kind of stuff. But that is why the government And the Prime Minister would have said that before the election, you know. That if they had to go into another lockdown, they don't have no $1,000 to give. You remember that?
Yeah,
you have
so
no money.
True, so true that, yeah.
But if you don't do it, what?
It's true.
I am not saying they should do it. All I am asking, what? How do you deal with the problem that you have right now?
Yes,
They are asking people to be responsible in their behavior.
so true.
But what? What do you do? Well, the whole economy had to be gone through. And that's why we were saying that Tobago ought not to have been in this position. And I am not going back to say anything, you know. We ought not to have been in that particular position. Had people understood what we meant when we were saying, do not wait until you're tested to dig your well. We were preparing. We don't know it was COVID. We don't know anything. We were preparing for the future. And that is why the water in Bloody Bay were going to be providing, I read out the figures here last week, we were going to be providing Tobago. And by extension, we were going to be giving, lending, giving at gratis, no interest rate. Give them money in order to see about the problem. 71 billion US dollars for water in 18 years. We out of that 20 years now. We give them 2 years grace. So 18 years for one project in Tobago. We're going to, and we didn't know, look at this. Everybody want water all over the world. Somebody was telling me, a businessman was telling me, you know, they saw on CNN that they're talking about that they're going to be a water crisis in the world right now because everybody's water. You don't have water. I was saying that since 1998. I said if there is going to be another world war, it's going to be about for water. Water is going to shut down soft drink companies. I think I give you that already on this program. The fella tell me, I cuss your mother. I cuss you out the whole boy. Think you was stupid. I said, boy, you don't understand this world. The things you see are not real. They are temporary. The things you can't see are real. You why you can't see God? Because it's real. You can't see electricity. It's real. The things you can see will disappear from you tomorrow. Tobago ought not to have been in this position. And when I pointed out to you too, that right now, who knows that water is more expensive than gasoline? You remember? I told you $5.75 for a liter of our premium gasoline. $5.75 per liter. For that. Super is $4.97 per liter right now. 1 liter right in Tobago of 1 liter of water now is $7. Cheap. $7. And I always tell people God does his work.
So true, so true.
You know, we ought to have been doing what we are supposed to be doing. We need to educate the population. I always tell people it's deception that keeps us in bondage, keep us in ignorance all the time and in bondage. It's the truth that will set us free. What Tobago needs to do right now is that we need to come together, to unite again. I'm saying to you that the PDP is dead and will never ever be able to win an election in Tobago. And let me say this again to people who still believe because they got 10,000 votes. I told you the TOP got 11,800 and something votes in 2013 and dead. We don't understand the politics. That's why I have opened up my office, give my telephone number in the public. Come sit down, call me. I will organize 5 at a time. Let me sit down and talk. Bring your questions, all the things that troubling you, come. Come, let me sit down and explain these things to you. I have journeyed through that, you know. And you know, a pastor told me something yesterday. We had a conversation and he said, you know, I saw something. I saw a person who was a pastor in Africa. I believe they must disfellowship him or whatever. Because he wasn't towing certain line. And he saw him preaching on Saturday. Because he does his own thing, because he moved on from the organization or the religion that this fellowship him or whatever it's called the term. And he said, you know, I am in this thing, he's a pastor for years, you know.
Okay.
But something the fella preached that touched him. Listen to what he says. He said, you know, the oldest apostle was Peter. The youngest was John.
Okay.
But every time they had to go someplace and Jesus had to go someplace, who normally go? Peter, James, and John. James was his brother, was Jesus' brother. Peter, James, and John. And it's very fella preached that touched this pastor, and the pastor is a pastor for donkey years, you know, this 1 year, you know, who was talking to me. He said, it touched him, you know, because he was saying something that I was saying to him. I want the young people to come. That's what Peter was doing, you know. Carrying him, journeying with him. You remember, it's John who wrote Revelation, you know. John wrote the book of Revelation, the youngest one.
Right.
He was journeying with him, carrying him with him, teaching him everything. When they went on the Mount of Transfiguration, who were there? Peter, James, and John. Who saw when Elijah and Moses come down talking to Jesus? He said, he was teaching him, nurturing him, teaching him, so that he could be able to carry on because he got to be moving on. And I said, wow. And the pastor said that to me because of what I said to him. I said, you know, it's years of telling people, young people, you have been misled, you know. A lot of people talking about politics, they don't know this thing at all. They're guessing this game. I say it myself.
We can see it.
I am out of this active thing to about 20-something years. I have not been involved in all those elections that come after that, you know. 2017, I tell you, all those involved. 2009, I wasn't involved.
No, not yet, not yet.
Yeah. Yeah, I was making the point. And I was saying to them, come, let's sit down and talk some real politics, what it is all about. What is involved. By this time, I would have been out of active politics. And Tobago would have been in good hands. They're following all kind of something. This look like he go win, and that one they look, even though he's evil, they're following it. And after the election, they end up the same place and saying, oh God, Mr. Charles did tell me that. I mean, I hate to hear it. Because every time I will tell them before, that thing you're following, they're dead. That thing they're following, they go carrying over a pit. Look at what happened to the PDP this time. I told them people, that boy didn't go in the seat, you know. Nobody that belongs to the kingdom of God will support you. Even though you talk about people who are pastors, they lost it. People don't understand because I know. And I was saying, but if Robinson was alive, you think this fella could have go before him? All of that I'm saying so that people's eyes will be open. I know what was happening. And this is why I said we gave them, and you will see the manifestation of that in the next after budget. We gave them a candidate in Tobago East, Juliana Henry King. And we are supporting the girl Boris down here. And I told her just about 2.5 weeks before election that she threw away that seat, that she could lose that seat. I'm just telling you. And I told a lot of friends of mine quietly, but I couldn't say some things in the public to affect her adversely. And I said, God damn, I'm sending a message to get this girl, boy. She has such potential, boy. But you going and talk about the devil and promoting the devil, you're going to lose that seat. Don't say nothing against him, no, for him. Talk about you.
Yeah. And I see that she actually listened to you, you know. I see that
you know, I sad about her, you know, and I want to see her. Yeah. I thought you were going to call me after last week. Yeah. And I don't like to put these things outside, but I hope she called me, you know, because I lose the number.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, somebody had given me that number there sometime, but I lose the number because I will call her myself.
Yes, yeah.
You want to sit down to find out what's going to happen? She has a lot of things to do, you know. And I'm really serious. I don't move away from certain things. People running behind a thing now, and I want to repeat it. The PDP cannot win an election in Tobago, you know. Again.
Yeah, I remember.
Especially the night of the election when people recognize that what we were saying is true.
It's true.
When Mr. Duke name appeared, That means they tarnish the entire PDP as an agent of the UNC. It's the same thing happened to the TOP in 2013. And the UNC took a decision in Trinidad. They want Tobago badly, but they will never be visible in an election in Tobago.
Yeah.
Right now, you expose the PDP. So anytime you say PDP now, people see it as the agent of the UNC.
Yeah.
That is dead.
So true.
Don't wait until you're trying to contest at the THA election and lost. And then say, oh God, Mr. Charlie, tell me that. It's dead.
So true.
Get away from there. Then no, people who don't understand politics start to use figures and numbers and say, hey. And that's why I come and say, hey, you win 10,000 votes? And you have a greater population now? More in the population right now? The TOP did win more than that, you know. They get 11,000, almost 12,000.
Yeah.
And lose.
And lose everything right
Me say mash up clean, they're not in existence. And I'm saying that to the PDP. Move away from that right now. And they will take Tobago, House of Assembly. We, Tobago, will take back the THE. We will lead people into it, train them, and give them. Say, continue to run it. They will never lose an election at all in Tobago again. It's not theory.
So true.
Come sit down, let me talk. Come and raise all your questions you want to raise. I journeyed through that. You know, God set the people of Israel free from Egypt under bondage. You know, 40 years after he set them free, they were still milling around in the wilderness. God could have carried them straight into the promised land. He's God. Nothing is impossible with God. He could have carried them straight into the promised land. But he had to get out Egypt from them.
Yes.
So they had to journey through the wilderness to get out Egypt from them. All these wrong ideas, this wrong information, wrong teaching, wrong behavior, selfish desires. You had to shed those in the wilderness. You know, all that. It's only new people except Caleb and that fella Joshua don't go over. Because you have to have somebody to lead them over.
To lead them over, that's so true.
All the rest is new people who born in the wilderness that go over there. And we don't want that to happen to Tobago. The God word is there. And we have journeyed through this to this time. You don't know how long I'm going to be here. And I am trying to lead them into this thing. Lead you there. If you're not there, you can't get in. This is not theory. And people want, what I want? I don't want nothing more than to see Tobago free.
Yes, Shelly Ann, thanks for listening.
I don't want anything more than to see Tobago free. You can't send them. You have to take them and then say, this is how you do this. You can't be outside. I hear people talking this crap about advisor and advisor. I say it doesn't work so in politics, you know. You look at the world. And this is where I give you the piece of scripture. I give you our things. I journey for how many years with Robinson? And he has been there, the chairman, and tell me, he couldn't send me because I didn't know. And he said, go and set up the Tobago House of Assembly in 1980. He said, I set that up. I set up the Tobago House of Assembly in 1980, not 96.
Okay.
Robinson was chairman in 1980
Yes.
to 1986. I go over Sandy Hall, he tell me go over Sandy Hall and take over the administration and set up the new structure.
Okay.
His office was down on Main Street. I didn't know why. God was, I don't know. I was not even the deputy. Dr. Davidson was. I was the leader of government business. Leader assembly business. And he asked me to go and set it up. And I know what God was journeying me into. You know when the next THA Act was passed and give us all this power in 96, you know I become the first chief. That is how I was able, because nobody in Tobago was at the level that know how to prepare an executive council note like a cabinet note. How to put a structure of government in place. You have to teach the public servant because they did not understand what is required to operate the new THA under the new act. All they were doing is to prepare reports to the Ministry of Finance with a new law that says a lot of stuff in Section 48. And you have to put them, sit down and teach them. And I had to do it myself. So when I tell somebody, I just wanted to lead a process. and then to show you how it is done, and I gone.
Yes, yes.
You think it's a joke? I gone. But we are allowing prejudice to blind us to the truth. And we can to remain in the wilderness. PNM love the PDP. I'm not asking you a question, Let me repeat that. The PNM love the PDP to remain in the politics at Tobago so that they will always win. I want to repeat that. I know that. Because that is the campaign on the ground. So when my good friend last week, and this is why I can't say these things. I can't say these things. I can't say this on this program. When I say last week, when the story come out that the people in Tobago love PNM, and I said, no, they don't.
Yeah,
you don't understand the politics. If you understand the politics, you wouldn't say so. You know when people want to vote? 22,000 people in Tobago East. 13,000 go vote. Wow. In this election, they're gone. So and the same in Tobago, almost the same in Tobago West. And people not understand these. Let people don't use no figure. I always tell, and I told Mr. Duke and them that when they met with me the first time, and I say, hey, because that was the problem why the PDP remains so, and I know there are other reasons, Yes. When we say, look here, I am the minority leader. That's what he said. And everybody should join him, join the PDP. And we pointed out, Jack first pointed out, we respect you as a minority leader because that's an official government position. But after every election, you have to start to come from zero. You have no vote. You have no seat. You have no vote. Start from zero. And then he pointed out to him. Jack said, he was minority leader with 4. Hello. Ashworth was minority leader with 4. And he said, I don't have none now. Huh? He has none. Then I said, I was minority leader too, Yes, I don't have none. Wait me, not only that. I was the chief secretary with many more, and I don't have none. So you have to understand the politics. You don't understand it. That is not a criteria or condition for people to join you. We have to examine the political environment in which we are and determine what are the strategies, what are the things we require to do to get out of it and to take the people of Tobago in control of this land so we could be able to manage this place.
So true, so true.
We couldn't do that. And a lot of people, because they go to university, a master's, PhD, this, that, economist, lawyer, advising the people, they don't have a clue. They don't have a clue about the politics.
Right, yeah.
Lloyd Best will teach them, Lloyd Best will have to tell them that Lloyd Best and they are a group they call Tapia. And Tapia have members of Tapia. They could have run any country in terms of their academic qualification. Okay. They couldn't win a seat no way. People don't understand that. They could not win a seat, but they have some of the cream of the crop as far as academia was concerned. Right. But it lacked the politics. And that is what I'm saying to people. Hey, you see them advice you get in there? That ain't going to do for you. That's not the politics.
Good afternoon to Deborah Patrick as well. Good afternoon to
Good afternoon. Good afternoon.
Don't forget, you can call in, you can text us in.
Shirley, boy, I know. I wonder if it's the same Shirley Ann Byron that I know. There is
yes, I
my
believe
good
so.
friend, Esther Byron, daughter. I know these people very well, But, we have to sit down together and talk to people properly,
Yes.
You can't allow prejudice to blind you to the truth,
So true, so true.
You hear truth and follow it, or you rebel against the truth and pay the consequences.
Yes,
I love it.
Good afternoon.
The country is in
Mr. Philip.
I don't know when.
Len Philip. Good afternoon to Mr. Len Philip.
Wow. That's
Yes,
a good boy.
just now.
Yeah.
Mr. Len Philip. And also good afternoon to Margaret.
Oh, yes, Len is listening.
Yes.
Yeah. That is what is required to be done. And people have to understand what is happening here.
So true.
We said that before the election. we say during the election that after the election and when the budget comes up on us, then people will remember the stories that I have been telling them in Tobago.
Yes.
Because Trinidad is going to be overwhelmed with regards to COVID. We said that before the election, before it happened.
Yes.
And then, because remember in 2017, and I didn't even recognize that my name came out in the Elections and Boundaries Commission report for 2017. I went and got a copy of the 17 the other day. I went and paid for it and recognized that my name in it. And I saw something, boy, that touched me. I didn't recognize it. I only showed one person at the office yesterday. I said, wow.
Just permit me one moment. Good afternoon to you, Mr. Winston Leet, and he's also saying good afternoon to you, Mr. Charles.
Good afternoon, my brother.
One of our main person who always there to challenge some great questions or to put some great questions.
Yeah. You know, something touched me in this report. Validation of the date for taking of the poll. This is the Election and Boundaries Commission report on the last Tobago House of Assembly election, you know.
Okay.
And something in this. On the 17th of January 2017, 7 days before the election day, Mr. Ho Choi Charles, former Chief Secretary of the Tobago House of Assembly and current leader of the Platform of Truth political party, raised question as to the legality of an election to be held on the 23rd of January 2017.
Okay.
It's something I want to get at why I start there, you know. Mr. Charles took the position that an election held on the fixed date would be illegal, since the requirement of election day be not less than 21 days after nomination day, as prescribed in Section 33(3) of the Act, would not be met. The nomination of candidates had, by this time, taken place on the 3rd of January 2017, and he contended that the 21-day requirement would have been the 24th of January 2017. He threatened to seek the intervention of the High Court if necessary. The situation arose primarily because of the tight time frame which had to be observed for the holding of the election. To wit, writs of elections having been issued by His Excellency the President on December 14, 2016, the earliest date on which the nomination of candidates could properly take place, with said date be not less than 14 days after the day of the issue of the writ, Section 33(3)(a) of the Act refers, was December 31st, 2016. This date fell on a Saturday, and Monday, the 2nd of January 2017, which would otherwise have served the purpose, had been declared a public holiday and consequently had to be excluded. The application of the provision of Section 159 of the Act resulted in Tuesday, the 3rd of January 2017, being the first possible date on which the nomination exercise could take place. And the quote Section 159 of the Act is produced hereunder. And listen what it says. In reckoning time for the purpose of this Act, or of the rules made thereunder, Saturdays and Sundays shall be included. But Christmas Day, Good Friday, and any other public holiday shall be excluded. Subsection 2. Where anything required by or under this Act to be done falls on a Saturday or Sunday, on any excluded day, that thing may be done on the next day, not being a Saturday, a Sunday, or one of the excluded days. Section 33(b) of the Act provides that the day on which the poll shall be taken shall not be less than 21 days after nomination day. Listen to this. This is what I wanted to get at. The matter was resolved. Listen to this. The matter was resolved by the enactment of Act Number 1 of 2017, cited as the Tobago House of Assembly Election Validation Act 2017. The bill which primarily sought to validate the date on which the election was scheduled to be held. Listen to these words now. Non-compliance with Section 33(b) notwithstanding. was passed in the House of Representatives on Friday, the 20th of January 2017. It was passed in the Senate on Saturday, the 21st of January 2017, and assented to by His Excellency the President on the same 21st of January 2017. This enabled the election to proceed as scheduled. The term I want to read is, what they say what? Although the law that they passed does not comply with Section 33B of the present act, they passed the law, however. That's what they said. You remember I was saying to you then that you cannot validate the breach of a law.
Yeah, so true. So
You
true.
pay the consequences when you breach the law. You can't validate that.
Yes.
But I never knew it is in this report. You say, the bill which primarily sought to validate the date, which seek to validate the date on which the election was scheduled to be, non-compliance with Section 33B, notwithstanding the fact that it does not comply with that, they pass it.
Yeah, pass it.
That's what they say.
All there. All is there. Just permit me one moment. Take this comment
Man,
from
I tell
Shelly Ann Byron.
Len Philip Shellyan agreed.
Shelly
Shelly
Ann
Ann
right
agreed.
here, she said, Mr. Charles, you have a... Like this comment.
On top,
This one here, what do you say?
wealth of knowledge and experience that should be shared among the young politicians. But that's what I'm doing all the time, you know. People, when you see me on a radio station, people don't know the kind of money I pay to educate Tobagonian. You know. It's not free, you know.
Exactly.
And I say this to Tobagonian for a long time, and I want to repeat it. They will call the radio stations, the newspapers in Tobago. You all, I want to teach you all something, you know. The radio stations, the print media, the television station. When you see me there, I pay to educate you, you know. Not because I want to become something, you know.
Yes.
It's to educate you. It's not free. They're bringing people from Trinidad, you know. People from Trinidad has come here, some of them free on the station. And the point is, we do not own any radio station here.
So true.
And what I am preaching is to free the people of Tobago and to empower them so that they will control Tobago, which is the richest island in the Caribbean, so that the wealth of Tobago will remain with Tobago and we must share it with other people. So they don't want to hear this voice. They don't want to hear anybody who trying to liberate you.
So true.
And Tobagonians don't understand that. That is why sometimes we have to pay to speak to you.
Look at that.
You didn't know that, eh?
No.
It's a lesson I want to teach people, you know. I journey this thing, you know. So when I tell people, it's who call the pay, who pay the piper call this tune. We know that. So sometimes people say, but we're not hearing your voice. I say, well, I ain't no money to pay the station.
Yeah.
But I be hearing everybody else. I say, well, yes, they will call them.
Yeah.
Because they are doing the agenda of, because the stations are either sponsored, controlled, owned, or because of the ads and so on that they give them, the business community. They don't want to hear Hotchoy and them voice because it is contrary to their wishes to keep Tobago backward. So we have to pay. And this is why I'm trying to organize Tobagonian to say some of these things off here, to teach them the truth. When I came on this station and I told you that in 2001, that happened in 2000 for the 2001 THA election. The general election was December 2000.
Right.
We launched our campaign on the 26th day of November 2000. And our election was the 29th of January 2001.
Yes, yes.
I'm saying this again. I want to hear people paying attention to Begonian, paying attention to what Hot Choice saying to them. The business community in Trinidad went to both the PNM and the UNC. It was Manning and Pandy.
Yes, yes.
I'm saying this on air, you know. I say it on public meetings all over the country, you know. On radio. I'm not asking a question. They went to them and say, if all you allow Hot Choice Charles to succeed, I was chief secretary, to succeed in Tobago, we're not giving you all any more money to finance all the political party in Tobago,
Wow.
in Trinidad. You know why? Because Tobago is a captive market for Trinidad. captive. We don't have no goods coming from anywhere else in the outside world to come here. It has to come from Trinidad, from the business sector in Trinidad. And what we were trying to do here with setting up Sunday Park is that Tobago, goods were going to come into Tobago and Trinidad will come here and buy. That was our program. If that succeeds, the business community in Trinidad don't want that to happen. So they will pay any money to get a leader in Tobago, that kind of leader, out of the way. That's why Mr. Manning and Pandy and them come here and campaign to get rid of our train. I'm not talking theory, you know. So when we were saying, we don't want the UNC in Tobago, and people say it's race, I said, no, we don't want the black one neither. They don't know what I went through, you know, and what we went through. They don't know what we're playing with the Tobago, you know. We will continue to pay for our destruction all the time because we're not wise. Tobago is the richest island in the Caribbean. I read out that several times. I mention it all the time. You don't know why. You don't know why you remain poor. You're following the people in Trinidad tell you. And this is why I was saying to people, the favorite meal of a fox is chicken.
It's chicken. Yes.
And if the favorite meal of a fox is chicken, and you invite the fox to design your fowl pen, you will get none.
Exactly.
He will design it in a way where he can go in and come out at will. And he will get a chicken to eat. The owner will get none to eat. That's what Tobagonian doing. Trinidad don't want you to be free because it is your resources that they're using to keep themselves in office in Trinidad. They don't want you to be free. Or they're not breaking up the nation. They don't want you to be free. Because you are calling them who don't want you to be free to design the system to free you. You will never be free.
Yes. Just permit me just take these two comments from Mr. Winston.
I don't want to get tired.
Yes.
But oh God, we hard.
Take this first one from Mr. Winston Leach and then you have the next one after that.
He said, this Mr. Gentleman, Mr. Charles, is so relevant, so current. If only we could take off our political hat. Brother, I love you. It's the truth. It's not now I say, and it's not new, you know.
Take the next comment from him there too.
But you see, once here people don't know how they are governed, anything goes. That's quite true. Mr. Charles is a resource person at Tobago and don't appreciate. The sooner the better. This is the point I was making. If you have prejudice and you allow prejudice to blind you to the truth, you're going to pay a price. That's what Tobagonians are going to happen. Let prejudice blind you to the truth. You will remain in bondage. Your children will remain in bondage. And this is why we're trying to free you from that. Because of prejudice, small-mindedness, pettiness, foolishness. They don't know, you know. All I wanted to do is to lead them into this taking over Tobago. This is so easy to do. I don't even want 2 years, you know. I gone because you could put it in place. When I see them sending people and saying, we want to be running for the THE, including my good friend Valley, we don't understand this war yet. Kita would make mincemeat of them. I have journeyed with them fellas, you know. Them fellas are battle axe. I'm not asking you, you know. This is why. Them fellas will tremble if they hear Charles leading this process. I don't want more than 2 years to put them fellas in the place, you know. Put it in there. And just gone by my business. I'm gone. Take what I'm saying now, man. They don't believe me. Hear what I'm saying. Everything I say to people, my word is my bond. I am chief. I was the first chief, you know. I don't want name, you know. I don't want to become chief, you know. I just want to take you there. You may have to get a name. Take you there. Put you inside there and then say, nobody can win you now, you know.
Yes.
Other than that, you're going to remain in bondage.
So true.
Just tape it, write it down, tape this.
Yes, take it there.
Yeah. This is the same thing that I said. Why Peter, James, and John in the Bible always gone with Jesus. Peter was the oldest one. John was the youngest one. Peter, James, and John always there. You're gone. Jesus went to show them something on the Mount of Transfiguration. And you remember? How the two fellas come down, Moses and Elijah come down talking to him and so on. John teaching the young fellas and carrying them to show them the way. You can't send them. They go get killed. This Tobago thing is not an easy thing, you know. It's a bone of contention. And if you don't journey through that, you would not know them for like a race issue that we disfigured by way of argument already. And they're going to raise them and you don't know where to go with it. Let me set up this thing, you know. It ain't going to take 2 years to do it. And I gone. Gone. I out of active politics. This thing what happened since 2001, you know. Had we not lost 2001, all of this thing I'm talking about here, where Tobago would have been financing Trinidad and the Caribbean, we said it long before that, you know. It would have happened, you know. I would not have been in active politics at all. I would have been sitting down somewhere if somebody want to have something, they call me and ask me, oh, Mr. Charles, I get in a difficulty here. I get in a difficulty here. Could you? Yes. That is all I wanted to do, you know. Sit down home. Yes. I am supposed to be with my God now, you know, just worshiping. But oh God, Tobago keep me in this thing too long. I don't know what God wants. I don't know, you know. We take too long. But as I said before in 2017, this crisis that is created in the country, remember? 2017, this thing I just read here for you. Yes. When I said that we didn't participate in that election, you know. You remember that? Yes. We took no part in 2017, the last HA election. Yes. I was down there doing my fast. I was on 21-day water fast. And when I talk about water fast, I don't not talking about what I talk about, you know, that you're breaking is 66. You know. It's 21 days of water. I went on 40 days of water, you know. There's not something you talk about, you know. Yes, 40 days of water 2 years ago. You know. Strictly water for 40 days. Nothing else, you know. You're not breaking 66, you know. Wow. And I'm saying something to Tobagonian. Stop your prejudice. Yes. Get out of this.
Let's take this comment from Shelly Ann Byron.
The breakthrough factory would, oh my God. Shelly Ann, you're on top of the wall. It will be going on, but instead, no, yeah, the breakthrough factory would have been supplying the rest of the world with the quality breakthrough one. I mean, there would not have been a hungry man in Tobago join any. The salaries in Tobago would have been something else, you know. No, anybody in Tobago that join anything like that was $7,000, $8,000 a month. Minimum salary. Everybody would have been a billionaire. This is not a joke. The breakthrough factory was also intended to open up international trade between Tobago and the outside world. Okay. Because as the breakthrough leaves Studley Park to go out to the United States, those arrangements were made already, you know, to go out to the United States of America. When those 40 containers every week were going to be leaving here, 40 containers, a breakthrough, the 40 containers were going to be coming in back. When they're coming back into Trinidad, into Tobago, they were going to be, you know, Miami is the gateway to Latin America and the Caribbean. They were going to be loaded with our goods. That's the same point I was making, that the business people in Trinidad met with both PANDI, the PNM, and the UNC, and said, if only allow Charles to succeed with what he's doing in Tobago, we're not financing all the party again. It's not a joke, you know. That's not theory. You know. That's a fact. They were going to be bringing back goods, not only for Tobago and Trinidad, you know, but also for Latin America. Studley Park was going to be the breakball place. It's custom brokerage, it's transportation. We started to do nothing in Tobago yet in Abaramori.
So you just permit me one moment, take this comment from Mr. Len Phillip.
How do you view the approach of the PDP in relation to the issue of Tobago? They don't have a clue. The PDP is a dead organization. It cannot resurrect again. The PDP is just an agent of another party in Trinidad, which is contrary, and I say this predominantly, which is contrary to self-governance. The PNM is contrary to self-government. The UNC and whoever the agent may be is also contrary to that. Because self-government means that the people of Tobago must be given the power and the authority to determine how we are governed here, though we remain one nation, Trinidad and Tobago. But in our space in Tobago will determine how we develop here. Correct. And if you are talking about somebody who want to bring either party from Trinidad, whether UNC or PNM, they are totally irrelevant. And in fact, the PDP is dead. Completely politically dead in Tobago. I made the same statement on the Thursday after the 2013 THA election, you know, when the PNM won 12 seats. The Thursday, Rise and Shine called me. Was 3 parties that contested that election. TPT, TOP, and PNM. PNM won 12 seats. And I remember the Thursday, I was on the air because they're talking to all the leaders, Rise and Shine. And it was Colston Edwards and Rhea George. And the conversation they asked me caused me to have to respond to say, the TOP is dead and will never, ever be resurrected in this country. And I tell them why. They said, but what a statement. Rhea who said so. But what a statement is this? They won 12,000 votes, 11,800 something votes. And I said there the Thursday after, 3 days after the election, that they're dead and cannot resurrect again. And I said to them, could you please just record this statement I am making and you will be able to play it back sometime later. In a year and a half, less than a year and a half, Rhea was on the same program, Rhea George, and she said to me, but what is this? I said, what is this? The organization went dead, completely dead, and can't resurrect. I'm saying the same thing today. The PDP is dead as a doornail and cannot resurrect. Prime people dismember it, leave it alone. There's a reason for it. They could have won 100,000 votes. They're dead. The night of the election, remember, the people in Tobago not foolish, you know. A lot of people believe they're foolish, you know. And I say to them, they are not foolish.
Tobago is different.
Because in 2013, it looked like if the TOP was going to win the election.
I remember that.
2 weeks before that election, or 1 week before the election, Kamala them come up from Trinidad. People say, oh my God.
Yes.
When Sandy put out this thing about Calcutta ship.
Yes.
In fact, that document is not he write it. I wrote that in 2012, August 12th, 2012, for that election. And I didn't write anything about Calcutta. All I said in that document, copies are available. I wonder if I have any in the file there. I said that there are 3 ships, political ships in the harbor. Remember the election was January? January. So that was August. So we started to do our campaigning. So there are 3 political ships in the harbor. 2 of those ships are taking you to bondage and slavery and moving to slavery and bondage to Tobagonian. Only one of these ships leading you to freedom and empowerment and riches. And I named them. And I said, the PNM and the TOP UNC ship carrying it on there. Only the TPT is the only ship that leading you to freedom and empowerment. When the PNM saw, that was circulated all over the country. When the PNM saw that they were overwhelmed by the UNC, by the TOP in Tobago, Sandy took that out and named one of the ship, Calcutta. Yes. Now you write that? I prepared that in 2012. And he named one of the ship. But the 2 ships were leading us to bondage. The black ship, the African ship were leading us to too, which is the PNM. And the other ship was taking us to the same place. So each time Len Phillips got away from PDP, PDP is dead. The night of the election, after 2013, the UNC took a decision in Trinidad. I repeat that 1,000 times in this society. The UNC took a decision in Trinidad because they know the people of Tobago did not vote against the TOP. They vote to prevent the UNC from coming into Tobago space to take over control of the people in their house. So just like we don't want the PNM there either.
So true.
No. They took a decision. The decision was, and remains so, with that experience, they know the people who want them in Tobago. Yeah. They said, we want Tobago, but we will never be visible in any election in Tobago.
Yeah.
What happened to Tobago people? We're not learning. They will not be visible, although they want Tobago, so they have to have an agent.
Correct.
So Watson, Duke, and the PDP was that agent. We were saying that all over the country. Some people doubt us. Even on your program here, people doubt us. They cuss us. In fact, Duke cussed me up on Facebook and all kind of live thing. I never responded.
So true.
Never. And I would not. I tell you the truth, I'll leave you there. until the night of the election, the 10th of August, when people looking at the television, and it's both national stations.
Yes, yes.
My brother first called me and said, but wait, what is this? I was down in Brizol, you know. He home. We didn't have a television, we had radio.
Right.
And said, but wait, look Fazir now saying to that boy, how on the 39 candidates of the UNC and one from Tobago, which is Mr. Duke, is on the list of the UNC. And ask how this get there. And Fazir was doing what he had to do. I didn't see it. They called me. Other people tell me that anything.
Yes.
And on the other program, which is CNC3, the same thing happened. A woman, they say, was asking the same question. But what? They didn't have Boris said it.
No.
It was Duke.
Yes, yeah.
So everybody in Tobago from that time, in Tobago, the next day, was saying, but what, Mr. Ochoy tell me that? Mr. Charles tell me that?
Yes.
But
yes.
this man disappointed me, boy, we didn't know that. No, so I know the same thing that happened in 2013 with Ethiopia happened this time with the PDP.
Yes.
That is a dead organization in Tobago space. And the PNM wanted there. The PNM want the PDP there so that they could point out to the people that want to bring the bill to Tobago space. The business sector in Tobago know that once that happened, they're dead. And I know the reason why. The businessmen, they tell me, you know.
Yeah.
They say we have to buy from all these people in Trinidad.
Yes, yes.
All of them belong to that group there, you know. We have to buy from them.
From them, yeah.
And once they control the THE, they will come and set up the business. They will shut us down. Because they will set the business up in Tobago. We have to be wholesale and retailer. Tobago is not foolish, you know.
At all. Let's just take this comment from Mr. Antonio Phillips. He's saying good night to all.
Good night to all. Sorry I'm late. What is the step for tomorrow? How can Tobago step forward after you give all this information? But I'm saying that all the time, Antonio. Antonio, I am saying that all the time. God damn, I get tired now saying the same thing all the time. That everybody need to come on board one Tobago voice.
Yes.
Stop following nonsense. Stop following foolishness. Stop following evil. You only have one organization in Tobago that you follow. Anybody jump on board that. If you refuse to do that, you will remain in bondage. And after this budget, you're going to cry tears of blood. I want to repeat that slowly. That's the solution to Tobago problem. It has no other solution. If you don't fix the politics of Tobago, nothing else will be fixed. You got to fix that. And it's easy to fix it. Just leave evil. The PDP was the only one. There are three parties now again, just like in 2012. PDP, one Tobago voice and the PNM. PNM not supposed to be in Tobago space at all, but they're in charge of the THA right now. But people know that after this budget, there's no money for them to spend and to bribe nobody. You want leader in Tobago right now to deal with the economy at Tobago after this budget. The land question will be fixed. Even with the President Tobago House of Assembly Act, this is why I want to lead a team. That's all I want to do. Until I'm doing it. After this budget, property tax. I told you that. Property tax will be brought back.
Yes.
Because oil and gas money are coming. You're all going to cry tears of blood, you know. You're all going to find Ochoy Charles, you know. You all will find me. You get out of stupidness and find me. I'm not God, but you will find me. Because you have been recording. Everywhere we go to talk, we tell people record the things we say. We have a public meeting, we tell people walk with the tape recorder and record it. Yeah. Because politicians don't like people to record them. But we begging you, we beseeching you to record our meetings. You will have a chance to play it back tomorrow.
Just take this comment from Shelly Ann.
The PNM is very strategic in their campaign, and the people buy their story. No. The PNM have the supporters, but I'm telling Shelly now that the PNM have the supporters, but not so. That's not the record. That's not the data, and I tell people that's not so. That's not true, you know. Half of the population didn't go and vote. I want to tell Shelly, half of the population didn't go and vote. They're not buying no PNM story. That's not truth. That's deception. We're saying that sometimes, and I'm not saying Shelley. I'm hearing that from people, and I'm saying to them, the evidence don't support that. Don't support that statement there. If you come, we will sit down and teach you that what you're saying there is not truth. It's not based upon fact. It's not based upon truth. PNM are people who they bribe a lot of people. They're not buying nothing from the PNM line and sink and everything. That's not true. It's not true at all. Half of the people didn't go and vote. I tell you in Tobago East, I just saw the preliminary papers, I don't remember the figures of that. 20-something thousand people, only 13,000 went and vote.
You know, not like what you expected over the years.
Because the people are never fed up with the PNM and they have not seen an alternative. And the alternative is when one Tobago voice go out there. It can't be the PDP. The PDP is an agent of the other side in Trinidad. And the Tobago population know that. So they couldn't trust them. That's the truth. I am journeying with this thing too long for people to come to tell me things that are not true. That sound good. It sound good. It's an excuse for a loss, but that's not the truth. And if you don't operate in truth, you got lost.
You will.
I talking to politicians and they telling me these people pad vote, and I always quarrel with them. I say, yeah, but here we raise that. I have been the training officer for the DAC, for the NAR, come down to all of these parties for the last 40 years.
40. Wow.
You ever hear me or anybody from our organization talk about the rob and the pad vote? Because they don't know what is to be done. This is why we talk so much of stupidness outside and ignorance. Every single polling station, and I just starting there, every one of them, when you go to the polling station, every candidate have an agent inside them that train. And their job, before the poll open in the morning, them box that come to the ballot box, you open them. You are there, you open them, you see that nothing there in there. Exactly. You put it on top of the table, it can't be removed because your train know that. You can't move it until poll close. You are there, you go in there, you empty it, you count the vote. The document that come out from there, you sign it because you know it's true.
Yeah.
The poll card box is the same thing. You are there in the morning. You open it, you know nothing there inside there. It is removed from your sight in the day. You follow it, you go in when they throw it out, you're there. You tell me what vote. How the pad? You can't tell me a trainer that foolishness. You go tell ignorant people that. We never raise those kind of matters because we know it's untruth and it's foolishness.
Right.
They don't know what to do, so they raise all kind of red herring. And the people don't love the PNM and they don't vote for PNM. Half the population don't go and vote because we are not able. We're so divided outside here, and we are not able to convince them. The people don't trust a lot of people, you know.
Yeah.
People only vote for people who they trust.
So true.
If you don't trust, you're going to sell you out. And that's why I tell people, come on board, oh God, come on board. This place can be free. You're going to see the back of Charles in 2 years. You will see my back. And you are going to be the most empowered people in this whole of the Caribbean. You're going to say to God, you mean is this with them mamagaing myself and denying myself this for so many years? Because of your prejudice? Your small-mindedness? Like Tobago problem. There's no leadership in Tobago. Look, we start Studley Park. I shall raise it in a little while. We raise this thing, right? In Studley Park. Even with the jetty. That we've been in there. 18 years that thing did it. Nothing happened to it. 16. Kelvin Charles and they start back up. You know what they call it now? The flagship project. the jetty with the aggregate. And I said, 18 years of that money and you would have become proficient in it. You would have been able, from that one project there, see about the welfare of the people of Tobago.
Yeah.
We never even talk about the Bloody Bay water yet. Bloody Bay water would have made Tobago, and it's still right there now. It's still right there now as I speak. Next week you can go and do it. Will make Tobago what the figures I give you? Over 3.9 billion US dollar per year. Me said 3.9 billion US dollar per year for water from Bloody Bay. It's still there. We getting 2 billion from Trinidad TT. It's there. And we're locking down Tobago.
Yeah, so true.
And after the budgetary day, you're going to see what's going to happen to Tobago. And we have this project in Tobago. We can't wait. Tobagonian, oh God, stop following nonsense now. We have our meeting in Scarborough the other day, and I said to people, look at this. I went to the Joint Select Committee on this Tobago matter. And before I said that, let me say this. Even with the present legislation, Act number 40 of 1996, you don't have to change the law, the one that is before Parliament, to make Tobago the things I'm talking about.
So true.
This money I'm talking about to make Tobago and to get away Tobago from the taxation that Trinidad got put upon them. You don't even want that legislation they don't pass, You could do it with this present law, but they don't know what to do.
Yes.
I tell you, you're going to find me. You're going to find me after this budget.
Just take this comment from Shelly Ann again, and then good night to Mr.
Who is the
Winkler.
leader of the One Tobago? One Tobago Voice was just formed last year, December. We now started to put it together when COVID came in. But what we have is a steering committee now going out there to start to make the members. But there's a steering committee of One Tobago Voice. I'm the chairman. So they are our chairman up there, and Miss Lady is the secretary of that One Tobago Voice. The people voted us into office. And we have a steering committee of 15 people to put you out. But we can't go out there and make members and set up group and so on because of COVID.
Yes.
But One Tobago Voice is there. You just come on board. Yeah, membership, make members. Mr. Duke and the PDP was called, But the UNC tell them don't come on board. Just like they did with the TOP. I'm telling you the truth. Because no party in Trinidad want a one voice in Tobago, Because the day that happens, the day Tobago going to be free. That is why Duke not on board. He was brought, He came, So we knew we knew since then that he was the agent of the UNC,
Yes.
Because if he come on board, he can't sell out.
Yeah.
He can't be the agent. They didn't want that to happen. So we were not talking when we were talking to you all in Tobago. Said, don't follow that fella, That fella sell out this place already, We knew that. That was not an opinion we were offering. We were telling you a truth. And if you rebel against that truth, you pay the consequences of it.
Yes.
So I am the chairperson of One Tobago Voice time being. And this is why I can say the things I'm saying. One Tobago Voice should have all the Tobagonian on it, all body in Tobago. And then your problem will be solved. Voting a person into office don't make them a leader, I want to tell Shelly, good evening, Wade. Oh, Shelly, I'm saying good evening, Wade. Shelly, voting somebody into office does not make them a leader. What it does, it exposes the lack of leadership. Because you see them outside there, you're watching them, and you hear them talking and say, look, he sound good. He sound good, It look like he be good. You put them into office now, and then you now see that they don't know anything. So it exposes the lack of leadership because they're now in a position to do something and they can't do it. You see, it happened to Kelvin Charles and it happened to so many of them. People used to think so, that a title does make you a leader. No. Doesn't make you a leader. This is not about no one person. It's not about an individual. It's about Tobago playing as a team or Tobago lose by default.
Simple.
We're not playing as a team. We are fighting elections in Tobago, and that's why I was able to bring the others on board. We are fighting elections in Tobago as though we are in Trinidad or Grenada or Barbados or independent. So you have all your power already, and you're now looking for somebody to deliver that power to the people. So you want a government, whoever win will become government, and whoever lose will become the minority, which is opposition. Tobago is not in that position. You're fighting the wrong fight. We fight in election as though we are in Trinidad or we in Grenada or Barbados or Jamaica. We are now looking to get our power in Tobago. When that power is given to Tobago, not to party, given to the island of Tobago, then the people of Tobago will have their political parties set up who will go to contest that election because they have to come and tell you, I want to deliver a new thing to the people of Tobago. And this is what I'm going to do. This is what I'm going to do. The other one want to do the same thing. And you, the people, will decide which of them you would allow to govern it. We ain't meet there yet. Tobago is still what you call a liberation struggle, where Tobagonian, all Tobagonian must be on this particular one Tobago voice to get our power from Trinidad. The election we fight in one another in Tobago is a useless fight. You fighting this one, the one they fighting that one, is utter rubbish. That is a fight that is relevant when you have your self-government or you have your independence. And that's why Tobago losing. That's why PNM could be in Tobago space. Because PNM is not a Tobago voice. As I explained in the public meeting the other day. Wow. As I explained in the public meeting the other day, brother man. And people's eyes open, you know. I see two people saying, I said, you know why Robinson could have done so much in the parliament for Tobago? The first act of 1980, where the PNM didn't fix up Act number 37, and then Ian Palm, they went back in 1996, and we have Act number 40. Since then, we sending no other people along there, PNM, nothing happening. But we now want to take up the matter from there to bring the final closure to that. You know why Robinson could have done that? They were Tobago voice. They didn't belong to government, no opposition. They were what? Tobago voice. And Robinson represented Tobago East. Follow me well. And I saying to them, Dr. Rowley is not a representative of Tobago. Dr. Rowley represents Diego Martin West. People misunderstanding this, you know. Dr. Rowley represents Diego Martin West. He's the representative for Diego Martin West. When they tell Dr. Rowley and Diego Martin West, is that what he had to do? Even though he contrary to Tobago, because he want to win a seat. And if he ditch the people who want to vote for him, he can't win. People have to pay attention. And that's why I said to you that the forest was shrinking. The forest losing trees, shrinking all the time, reducing. And the axe was cutting down the forest, cutting down the trees them in the forest. So the forest becoming smaller and smaller and smaller. Axe cutting them down. But the trees continue to vote for the axe. Yes. Because the axe was clever and was able to convince the trees that because my handle make out of wood, I am one of you. I'm one of you all. I'm wood too. And they continue to vote for the axe, and the axe chop down the trees.
All the time.
That is exactly what Tobagonians are allowing to happen to them because of the fact that Dr. Rowley is not a person that represents a constituency in Tobago. Are we, boy? No, he's a Diego Martin West boy. He's Trinidad. Don't get fooled, you know.
So true. Just take this as we up to
I don't understand what Anthony is asking. Think we have to try the next generation. What is meant by that? Could you explain that to us so that we could explain to you? Because I'm hearing some kind of talk like that is foolish talk. I don't understand it. You better explain what you mean by what you mean. I try the next generation. You mean when they're dead?
Mr. Antonio, can you explain?
Then you explain that because Charles? We can't help him. We have to try. Who has to try the next generation? And what does try the next generation mean? This is not something you try. It's something you have to know and do. This is why in the Bible, God tell Moses and them, write it down. And write it down so that you will be able to pass it on to the next generation. Eh? You see them kind of talk there? I hearing them talk there all the time, you know, you don't mean nothing at all, you know. We mama guy a lot of young people, you know, because we know that the young people are the majority. But somebody has to lead them.
True, so true.
Somebody has to lead them there.
So true.
And then, when they get the schooling, this is why God tell them, Moses, write down all of these things so that they will not forget, you know. You know that? So you pass it on, the elder would pass it on, this would pass it on, so they will remember that I am their God.
Yes, yes.
If they forget, they're going to do the wrong thing. And that is exactly what I'm saying has to be done with the next generation. And that is what the training program that we're talking about so long, not even Antonio calling to come to the training program. And I always tell people, when you're too bright, you can't learn. When you are too bright, you can't learn because you know already.
Yeah, so true. Just take these two comments as we into close time from Mr. Winston Clark. No, from Mr. Wayne Clark and also from Shelly Ann.
The people, no. I listened to Shelly. Shelly asked why they voted against my administration. Ignorance. I say ignorance. They didn't know the truth. But the truth since then has been revealed. That everything they voted against is the thing that should have been done now. Tobagonians should have been the wealthiest people in the whole world now. But somebody come and misled them. I remember Pandy came in Roxborough on the 25th day of January 2001. The election that I lost on the 29th. And say I give away the police license. And the people in Roxborough and all did not understand what I was doing. That there is no radio station in Tobago or television station that have a national license.
National license.
No. The people in Tobago didn't know. They did not know. They were misled. And went down the road and catching hell from since then to now. All I'm talking about, the water project would have been manifested Tobago. Every Tobagonian were going to be a billionaire today.
Yes.
But the people voted against it.
So true.
And I ask, I want to ask Shelley this, and it's a rhetorical question. Shelley, I wonder what else Noah could have done to prevent the people from drowning in the flood. If you tell me that, I will be able to tell you the answer to your question. Noah talked to the same people for 120 years. They didn't believe him. So they act on what they believe and drowned in a flood. The same thing happened to Tobagonian. I was telling them the truth and what must be done to be able to survive what we are involved in even today as we speak. They didn't believe. They act on it, and 20 years are in the wilderness. And when this budget come up, the truth, the real truth is going to reveal itself.
Just take this one from Mr. Wayne Clark.
Mr. Charles, I'm thinking the same, that the PDP will not survive. With that said, you're trying to bring... I am saying that all the time, and you better encourage them also to come on. But it's the only solution to Tobago problem, you know. And we never use an acronym. We never use an acronym at all to name our party. OTV. I'm not following not that the media says. You know. We are one Tobago voice. You know, OTV. We never have that know about in our thing, you know. All the others have that on the symbol. Our symbol don't have nothing like OTV, you know. Our thing is one Tobago voice. I don't want no acronym there. Don't let nobody get you down into that. One Tobago voice.
And I'll see a girl now joining there from New York. That's Lee.
Wow. And you see another person asks the thing. God bless. Oh yeah, it's Lee.
Yes.
Good. Blessed night, my friend, Mr. Charles. Yes, good night. There's another question. I want to take all of them before I go.
Well,
what is your opinion on why? Oh, yes.
Yeah,
I answered Shelly-Ann already.
Yes.
Shelly-Ann, that's right. People were misled. Deception keep them in bondage up to today. Because today, Tobago business would have been fixed a long time ago. All of you would have been rich people in this place. We would have been paying Trinidad way today, giving them money. Studley Park Quarry would have been there. But people were misled. They were misled. They allow other people, strangers to come in there. They allow the devil to come inside there and take away Jesus from them. And they say, give me Barabbas. And they select Barabbas and pay a price.
Yes.
And this is the truth. This is the truth. Socially, that's the only reason. The only reason why they voted against my administration is that. Nothing else, you know.
Yes.
Nothing else. They were misled. All kind of entrepreneurs. When we did Ring Bang, you remember that? Ring Bang is a multi-billion-dollar industry that sit down up there.
Yes.
You don't have to do nothing because Tobagonian did not understand intellectual property. Pandy and them come here and say ring bang, 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 all kind of nonsense. While at the same time, they were looking for a way of bringing Morgan Job, and they were looking for a way of bringing something first. Then they bring another first. But they don't understand it because they recognize till Barbados and them are telling them these are the low-hanging fruit. I think WIPO, World Intellectual Property, were telling them that culture and them things is the low-hanging fruit that country do have to spend money to make billions in foreign exchange on and so on, while you were isolated. And the world was saying that. The Trinidad government was trying to castigate Hotchroy Charles in Tobago because you all did not know of these things and so on and allow them to mislead you. Now you recognize, oh God, that is the money spinner.
Yes.
And I was saying that then. Tobago get misled, and batter up, Up to now they're getting battered. And after this budget that coming in the next couple of weeks here, Tobagonian will cry tears of blood, Mr. Murray. And then you would have said, oh, because they are good thing we reveal the information before. So that they see precisely what Tobago position would have been today. Tobago would not have been in the Trinidad position now. Or we suffering and not getting no money to help the economy. People can't buy nothing, they can't do nothing.
Nothing.
Do you want another comment?
No, that's it.
Oh boy.
Well, thank you all people for your comment.
Time flies, boy.
And don't forget every Tuesday right here, tune in for Mr. Charles, where he actually bring the issues that affect Tobago.
And I love Shelley.
Yes.
Shelley engagement this evening. I realize she's serious because she asked a lot of important questions
That's so
there.
true.
And I told her the truth. Because the real question is why they vote against your administration. Ignorance.
Yeah, ignorance. Yeah.
Total ignorance. Because other people were confusing them.
Yeah.
And now, all the things that I was saying them now come to light. And they say, oh my God. And they would have been enjoying all of this for years. So right now, when Trinidad going depression, Tobago would have been helping out Trinidad. And Tobago would not have been in this position.
I said so too. Hey, good night to you too, Lee. And don't forget, looking forward to see you all the whole week ahead. So right now,
always a pleasure.
Now we actually make our way out. Was nice having you guys inside. And don't forget, every Tuesday right here, tune in. All right, see you all on Thursday and Friday, and then we are Saturday and Sunday. So on the behalf of GLS 103.5, was nice having you guys online. Next week, share up, invite more of your friends, share it up. Let people know what is taking place so that we can have more views, more comments inside. And don't forget, Mr. Charles is always here to answer your question. Not in an ignorant way. He always take it in the most productive way to deal with the situation. So, hey, look forward to see you guys next week.
I will set him on high, because he has known my name. He shall call upon me and I will answer him. I will be with him in trouble. I will deliver and honor him. With long life will I satisfy him and show my salvation.
The workers of iniquity dig a pit for me. Now they're waiting for me to fall in, trying to take my bread and butter with lies and propaganda. But they're fooling, they're only fooling. I will not be afraid of what man can do to me. Man, you see, is only vanity. You see, who God bless, no man curse. He shall never hunger or thirst. Who God bless, no man shall never curse. He shall be first. He shall be first. Lord. Whoa. All these years of toil, burning the midnight oil, creating something from nothing. Now it reached maturity and gained popularity. Some of them claiming it's their own thing, but a short truth always prevails finally. So the death of lies and deceit is a certainty. You see, who God bless, no man curse. He shall never hunger or thirst.
This is Caribbean Vibes.
As the nation continues in its fight against the deadly novel coronavirus, COVID-19, GLS 103.5 urges you to continue observing the new normal. Continue social distancing. Wear your face mask. Wash your hands regularly. Use hand sanitizers. Avoid assembling. And generally continue to clean and sanitize your environment. We thank everyone for their continued yeoman service. The doctors, nurses, hospital attendants, supermarket attendants, hardware workers, those involved in pharmaceuticals, public service transport workers, sanitation workers. You are to be applauded in the fight against this deadly, novel coronavirus COVID-19. We urge the nation to continue to be safe and take the necessary precautions against COVID-19.